Welcome to the Select Star Podcast, your resource for innovative technology, developer topics, and more. Here's your host, Margo McCabe from the HarperDB team.
Welcome to Select Star, your resource for innovative tech discussion and developer topics. On this episode from 2018, you can hear from 4 employees across a variety of departments discuss what it's like working at HarperDB and why they love their jobs. For an update on this topic, listen to our new episode from December 2020 to hear from 2 co-founders as they share how the team came together, what HarperDB has achieved thus far, and where it's headed.
Today with us for our fireside chat are some of the folks from the HarperDB team. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a second, but today we're going to be talking about what it's like to work at HarperDB, which is an exciting topic. I'm pretty interested to hear about that. We'll be recording this for folks who didn't have a chance to join, and it'll be on our website shortly. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get started? Why don't you introduce yourself?
So my name is Jason Bathrick, and I am one of the business developers at HarperDB.
Awesome.
I'm Haley Harms. I'm the marketing intern at HarperDB.
I'm Kaylin Stock. I'm the Director of Marketing Product at HarperDB.
I'm Jake Cohen. I am a solutions architect here at HarperDB.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Why don't we go around and explain a little bit about what each of you do? So, Jake, you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. So I sit kind of right between the engineering team and the sales team, and I call myself the translator. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I like to jump on sales calls, try to work out some of the technical details with customers, take their feedback back to our engineering team, and either get suggestions, provide feedback, and overall improve the product and solve proof of concepts, different things like that. So I do kind of a little bit of everything.
Awesome. And Kaylin?
So I run the marketing here, just managing everything from social media and email and the website. I also help in the product side, not as much anymore, but I did start out a lot helping our technical team with the product. I help design the studio and stuff like that. But now I'm just mostly working in the marketing side.
Very cool. And Haley?
I work directly with Kaylin, and so I've been doing a lot of graphic design and marketing. My title is marketing intern, so I do a lot of social media and website things, but I also use or include graphics and do kind of the design things for HarperDB.
Awesome. And then Jason?
Yes, so I'm tasked with introducing HarperDB to essentially any companies that are using a database, and really what my role is to understand what these companies are using as far as databases go and how HarperDB can essentially simplify their database landscape. I do a lot of work with Jacob here, our solutions architect, to provide solutions to those companies and just follow through and work on closing business.
Very cool. So, Kaylin, how long have you been with HarperDB?
I started with HarperDB on March 1st, 2017, which also is the day that the company was founded. So I was the first employee. I came over with the 4 founders from our past company that we worked at. So obviously, I don't mind working with them too much since I crossed over from a different company.
Very cool. And Jake, how long have you been here?
Been here about 5 months. Got started early in the year.
Nice. And Jake, what was your first week like?
First week was all over the place, but it was really good. The team is very welcoming. They get you ramped up pretty quick. There's a lot to learn with HarperDB, of course, but it's easy to pick up. I think I was up and running with the database my first day, and really just working with everybody, whether it was meeting Kaylin, Jason, really everybody here has been very helpful getting me ramped up.
And how did you meet the team?
So I interned with the team back in 2012 at our previous company. So I've worked with all of the founders before this, and a couple of the other people we have here as well. So it was good to hear from them. I've been following HarperDB since it started. and eventually got a call that said, "Hey, we'd like to bring you on." So here I am.
So basically, what you're saying is both of you were crazy enough to work for me twice. Is what you're saying?
I guess that is what we're saying, isn't it?
Questionable.
So for the rest of this, I wouldn't listen to what they have to say. Probably Haley and Jason are probably better source of information because obviously they're both nuts. So Jason, what has it been like, doing your thing? What has it been like talking to customers, potential customers, prospects? What's your experience been like?
Yeah, I mean, I came into this industry pretty green, so I had to, do a lot of studying. My first couple of weeks or maybe even a month was just really dialing into database market as a whole and then learning, our offerings at HarperDB. But since then, I've been having tons of conversations with companies who are, interested in HarperDB, and it's super exciting because each company has a different need or different projects that they're taking on where HarperDB can fit in. So it's just learning about new projects, new databases, competitors, and really, providing HarperDB as a solution. So it's been a great experience just learning about different companies and working with our team to provide a solution for them.
Very cool. And Haley, what have you been up to this summer? How have you found the experience of interning at HarperDB?
I'm learning a lot about the database, which I had no idea about coming on, so it was a little challenging. Trying to compare graphic design with the database and making graphics for that. But I've learned about it, and technology is brand new now in my eyes, and I see it differently. So I'm learning marketing about the database, about HarperDB, and just kind of growing as a designer and student and learning everything from the team here.
Very cool. And from your experience, what has been the most challenging thing sort of from an intern perspective other than learning about the product, which I think everyone besides myself, Zach, and Kyle is probably going to claim at some point since we built it?
Most challenging, probably just kind of pairing my design with the rest of the team and finding that connection and balance between what I want to create and how it works with the rest of HarperDB.
Understood, because you're very creative, you're an amazing graphic designer, but then at the same time now you have to marry it to what a business needs, right, and sort of finding the balance. What you're saying is between the creative side of your artistic vision, but also achieving business goals. Mm-hmm. And have you gotten to experiment with other areas outside your comfort zone with your internship? Like you talked about the social media, you talked about some of the content stuff. Mm-hmm. Those were new to you, correct?
Yeah, so I'm studying graphic design and I've only taken a few marketing classes. So being able to expand on the social media is huge, and learning that it's not just my apps on my phone, but tons of background behind it and just everything that goes into it is really insightful.
Very cool. Thank you. Kaylin, can you tell us a little bit sort of about how you feel the founders or I guess me, which is awkward. So again, listeners, take this with a grain of salt. What is our leadership style like? What is it like to be directed by us, sort of? And then we'll let Jake give the counterpoint to whatever you say.
Well, something that I've noticed is a theme and that I think is something I really like is that you have a lot of freedom here and a lot of control over your day-to-day. The founders put a lot of faith in you as an employee to kind of get your work done and drive yourself and your goals. And I think it's great. It can be challenging at times, sometimes, the freedom. But at the same time, it's just great that they trust you and that it just makes you I feel more valued because I feel like I'm really putting my own input in and it's, kind of on my terms. But of course, I'm still getting my work done. I'm not just sitting. But I think that's kind of the overall arching theme of.
And before we get to Jake, you brought up an important point there, which is part of our values, and it's not just something on our website, but that we live and die by, which is it's around accountability and empowerment. You mentioned that can be challenging. That can be pretty scary, right? Is the level of accountability and empowerment that we provide here?
Yeah, when I first started back at the last company we worked at together, I definitely had moments where I'd come to Steven and I'd be like, I need you to give me work. Like, I don't know what to do. Because, when you think going into an office setting that you're just going to be, this is what you're told to do and this is what needs to be done every day. And then to be able to come in and have a lot more freedom, yeah, it's definitely intimidating. But once you kind of find your groove, then you realize how great it is to have that kind of leadership style. And I've also just started to try and kind of implement that, working with Haley this summer. I've kind of tried to not, because I'm very type A. So if I had been told to manage someone before working here, I probably would have thought, okay, I need to break out every second of every day for this person. And I mean, I kind of hope that I've kind of given you more freedom to do the same thing that my boss has done for me. So.
Very cool. And Jake, have you had a similar experience, different experience? I mean, you're in a different role and you work with different folks, some of the same, but some different.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, empowerment is really the good summary of how we operate. It's not to say you're off on your own and you can never go for help, but it's up to you to ask for help. I've worked hand in hand with pretty much everyone here, I think I can say safely, whether that was me going to them going, hey, I'm working on this project, I need some help, or them coming to me. It's absolutely not micromanaged from up top, though. So whether it's working with Kyle, the CTO, on either feature requests or needing help learning a new technology, talking to Steven about a strategy, working with Jason on the sale, we're all empowered to do that. And I think by empowering people, we work better as a team as a whole.
Very cool. Jason, what has been the worst thing about working here? Answer honestly.
So, probably, well, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing, but one of the more difficult things is just, the everyday grind of sales. Sometimes it can be difficult, especially when you're introducing a new product to the market. But my mindset is, these people are going to adapt and as we continue to grow, they're going to, be more inclined and more open to listening to our message and how we can help with our database architecture. So that's just the typical sales grind. I've really enjoyed everything about HarperDB as far as the company goes. One of the things that I love the most about it is the fact that we're all so open to helping each other out. I'm helping Kaylin with our happy hour event. You guys are helping me with, speaking to these customers, providing solutions, even pulling in Steven to meet with, people who I speak with in San Francisco. So everyone's here to help each other out. We all have the same goal in mind, and we're all, essentially putting the pedal to the metal to get there. So
very cool. And Haley, as not an outside observer, because you've been brainwashed a little bit over the course of the last few weeks, months. How would you very briefly describe our culture? What do you think of when you think of sort of the HarperDB culture?
When I first started, everybody had been working together for so long and they all knew each other. So it's very much family oriented and a small team, but I grasped onto that and I felt welcome as soon as that came.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, because that can be scary, right? I mean, we have almost every single employee who's, outside of Jason, has actually worked with myself at least once before. And so that can create that. But at the same time, we have tried to be welcoming, and we know that's an area we need to focus on, right? Is that we have to, it took you a little while, right, Jason, to feel part of the team, right? Because we are pretty cohesive, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and plus, most of our team is, developing the product or working on marketing, where I'm kind of off on my own island doing outbound stuff. So I don't really know what you guys are talking about a lot of times, but that's okay.
But you still feel like you're part of the team, right?
I do, of course, yes. We do a lot of cool things like grabbing beers and stuff like that, where we can just chit chat and talk about other things than work, which is great. And I love it.
Cool. And that's going to be a challenge for us as we scale, obviously, also, right? And it's something that we need to be aware of, is that as we scale, we need to, expand beyond the borders of the, crazy people who started this thing and move on beyond that. Jake, what advice would you give someone if it was their first day at HarperDB? What advice would you give them?
would tell them that even though we do work really well together, we're totally open to new people. I mean, I've definitely sat there watching the founders have a conversation where they say 3 words and then immediately know what they mean, right? I mean, and that makes not me feel like an outsider, but me going, wow, I wish I knew what they were talking about, because they have worked together so long. And I think it's the reason we're where we are, and so we're on the path we are. But it is kind of crazy to watch a conversation that doesn't happen and yet be complete. So you are welcome. We will do our best to welcome you. I think it's probably a 2-week ramp up between getting used to everybody and learning the product at a high level. But stick through it, and it's totally worth it. And you'll be welcomed into the HarperDB family sooner than you think.
Very cool. And Kaylin, what types of folks do you think would be successful at HarperDB?
I think that, sorry, I need to think about this for a minute. I would say someone that is looking for a role in a growing company, and someone that's looking to make a big impact, and not just be like employee number 10,000 or whatever in these large corporations. And then also someone that does have that ability to be independent and enjoys working independently, while also has a good balance of wanting to still work with the team.
And Jason, what type of person do you think would fail at HarperDB?
Well, someone who needs to be micromanaged all the time. We have a long leash here, so you have to be, held accountable. So someone who just can't work by themselves probably wouldn't do very well here. From a sales side, you definitely have to be goal-oriented. You have to be driven on a daily basis to go out there and, continue to hit the phones, be able to convey the message of HarperDB and work with your colleagues to, share how we can help these companies. So you definitely have to be good at communicating, driven, and be able to work independently for sure.
I'm going to ruin my journalist's integrity here by becoming the story instead of interviewing the story. But the other thing I think I would say, just in case there's no way for me to coax this out of your mouths, is that I think teamwork, working alone, but as part of a team, right? I think that's pretty important, is that, and you can't all see them, but they're nodding their heads, is that because we're very collaborative, right? We work very independently, but also when it's needed, we collaborate, right? And I think that because a lot of folks who work independently can sometimes not be collaborative, and we'll have periods of intense collaborativeness. We're trying to solve a problem, if we're trying to solve a customer issue, if we're strategizing about a new way to do a marketing campaign. We come together and we work together very closely in those times. I think part of it is also, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, if I can expand on that a little bit, I think we value all of people's skills, right? We don't bucket you into your job, right? So if your title is solutions architect like mine, it doesn't mean that's the only thing I know how to do. I've worked with Kaylin on marketing. I've contributed to graphics because I can do it. Am I the best? No. She's obviously better, but I've added value where possible. And that's how we tend to work. So our skills we're a full person. We have various skills. We capitalize on all of them, not just what you are bucketed to do, right? So we encourage everyone to be their best.
Yeah, I would say on that too that working, we're not necessarily, I guess we're not officially a startup anymore. I've learned this, but working in this kind of startup environment, it's really fast paced and always changing. And something, I said to people interviewing for the internship this summer, I said, you have to be okay with, doing something, and then maybe the next day we're going to completely change our strategy, completely change. And it's just a fast paced, ever changing environment. So you have to be okay with change as well.
Not to make it sound, we've stayed true to our high level goals and our high level targets, but the way we implement them can change on a dime. And
that's just the nature of the size of our company and where we're at in the stage of the company as well. So
for sure. Jake, what areas do you think that we need to improve upon as a company to be better?
That's a tough question. I think what I do believe we have is where our eyes are open to anything. So we are good at listening to feedback. I definitely think we're not perfect at everything. We definitely need to expand into working with people we haven't worked with before, but I understand why we did what we did from the beginning, right? We went with trusted people to establish ourselves, and now we need to grow. So we need to branch out to kind of.
Are you referring to the
culture.
fact that our company is majority white dudes?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's certainly part of it. And it's tough. I've had to interview before with previous companies. In tech, it's difficult, but I think we are going to.
But we're ready. I mean,
ourselves up.
we want to be more diverse than we are.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think between your blog posts and about working with the inspirational women in your life, that was a great one. I like working with anybody. I think we all do. So whether our pictures show it or not, we are open to working with anybody.
And we're a pretty strange bunch of people as well, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we may look similar, but we are very different. But we get along. Yeah. And then, Kaylin, what do you think we need to improve on?
I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but diversity for sure. And I don't know. I've just had a really positive experience. I've always felt supported. I've always felt, comfortable, and I'm really happy with everything, honestly. I want to try and pick it apart, but other than the diversity side.
I think communication is probably an area, even though we're small, we can probably improve a little bit on internal communication. We're getting better on that, a lot better. We've gotten better. I think that's an area we could do better on. Totally change the topic. Kaylin, what is it like being the only girl most of the time when Haley's not here amongst all of us?
It's interesting. I guess you don't really picture yourself working in a company and being the only female, but it's not like, I guess what I'm going to try. It's not like a boys club, that's for sure. It's not like the guys are sitting around, talking about sports and going out for beers and I'm not invited. It's nothing. Everyone's welcoming and everyone's friendly, and everyone here is very, like Steven said, very different, and they're not like just your stereotypical kind of, how do I put this, kind of bro-y guy, I guess. So I don't think it so much affects the environment as, a lot of people might feel when they look from the outside in.
And is that because you're the only one that actually likes sports?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I am probably now that Jason works here, and I know Fred can be into sports too, but I mean, for the most part, I am the main person that likes sports.
Very cool. And so as we wrap up, I'm not going to call on one of you directly. I'm going to let you think of this, and when you're ready, you can answer this, because this one's a tough one. If you had to say, what movie do you think working at HarperDB is most like, what would you say? So when you're ready, just throw it out there.
Oh my God.
But while you're thinking also, our company is named after a dog, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a dog, Kaylin?
I do have a dog. Her name is Albie. She comes to work with me every Thursday, which is awesome. That's a small perk about the place that we're at right now. It's dog friendly. And
we're naming releases after.
Oh yeah, we name our releases after a dog each year, and so Albie got the coveted first year. I probably pushed that a little.
Just a tiny bit.
So all the releases of 2018 will be Albie 1.1 through 1.4. I think next year we're moving on to Penny, Kyle's dog. So that's definitely cool. Get your own little personal touch.
Very cool. So do we have any folks who are ready to answer the question? No?
Oh my gosh, what would you do? You probably have an answer since you thought of that question.
I have a TV show, but...
I mean, that's an easy one, though.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to make them uncomfortable. We'll edit this part out for the podcast. But is there anything else that you all feel like that we should tell folks who are interested in working with HarperDB, there's partners, prospective hires, customers, etc.?
Yeah, I would like to add that we're not your typical startup. When you think startup, you think, oh man, I have to work 1 million hours. I'm never going to sleep. I'm never going to see my family. Like all I'm going to do is work, and we're going to build it for 3 years. We're very much the opposite of that. We're still going to get our job done, and we're going to do the work at the highest quality we can. But at the same time, super flexible. We understand your life is your life. We have an unlimited vacation policy at the moment. If you need to leave, you leave to handle something, and you work when you need to, and you work your best. But we don't sit there and drain the life out of you.
It's a work-life balance, for sure.
And I'll be honest, that is because when I started my career, I started as a consultant. I used to work a lot, and before that I worked at Red Hat, where I worked even more. And at the time I really valued, like, people can work 100 hours a week, or, heroes. And what I realized over time, through a number of smart people and teaching me better, is that in reality, you get really only effective work done about 30, 40 hours a week. And anything beyond that ends up being, busy work. It ends up degrading the quality of the work that you're doing. It ends up, you make bad decisions, you're stressed, you make mistakes. And so we do care deeply about everyone that works here, and that's part of the reason behind it. But the other reason behind it is because it's to our benefit, right? I mean, we have a higher quality output of the product, and I think we're more mature than most startups, probably because this isn't our first time, right? I mean, our healthcare plans, our operations in general, how we approach sales, how we approach the product, and we're very lucky, and I feel very lucky to have all of you be here, and I feel very lucky to have the rest of the team, in that I get to stand and smile and say a bunch of dumb things, but it's really all of you that make the company as successful as it is and as mature as it is, and I appreciate everything you do. And thank you for doing this. So I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you on the phone, and we will talk to you soon.